many people realize that the Federal Reserve in the United States, because it uses the word federal, is an actual a government-run establishment, but in fact, it's a private bank. You know, a lot of people don't seem to realize that, and of course they don't want you to know that either. So, and it's 5 families that control the Federal Reserve, and they're all associated with the banks, of course, and so they lend money to themselves, and then they use it to speculate on the stock market. The whole Federal Reserve is a Ponzi scheme, the whole thing. So that's pretty disgusting too, but it's gone on for so long that, of course, the corporate-controlled media doesn't report anything like that. They don't want you to know. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any of you here tonight, I am distinctly underwhelmed to introduce 2 shameless porkers from the American political scene who've taken our own quaint custom of high tea to new extremes. Here to present the Lifetime Achievement Award, Piggy, for snorting cokes, our former Alaska Governor, Sarah Palin, and former Fox News propagandist, Beck.
Thank you, America.
Canada.
You betcha. Thank you, Canada. It's a real honor to be here today. It is a real honor to be here today to present this Lifetime Achievement Award to the Snortin Koch brothers of Wichita, Kansas.
Charles and David Koch, who are the owners of Koch Industries, whose estimated fortune is worth $100 billion. Yeah. The Kochs, they own oil pipelines in Alaska,
Drill, baby, drill.
Minnesota, Texas, and they control 4,000 miles of pipeline. They are the owners of Georgia Pacific Lumber, Stainmaster Carpet, Dixie Cups, Brawny Paper Towels, and some other products that we'll get to later.
Koch Industries has been named in the top 10 air polluters in America. And they are the kingpins of climate science denial.
The Kochs have donated to organizations that are fighting climate change legislation, underwriting huge networks of foundations, think tanks, and political networks. Now this, in the political circle, is known as the Kochtopus.
Talk about charitable giving, eh? In this newspaper here, it says even the Center for Public Integrity said the Kochs, they're on a whole different level. No one else spends this much money. The sheer dimension of it sets them apart. They have a pattern of law-breaking, political manipulation, and obfuscation. They are the Standard Oil of our times. Just a couple of Main Streeters come to the big city to set those Eastern elitists straight.
The Kochs have also founded the Prosperity Foundation, which organizes, educates, and funds Tea Party protesters. Now get this. Advertisers have cast this as a populist uprising against vested corporate power. What irony!
Americans for Prosperity, they even provided lists of 2 Tea Party activists activists of elected officials that they should target, like that woman in Arizona. Yeah, and you know, this is a shout out to all you Joe Six-Packs out there. You remember your Second Amendment rights.
The fervor of the 2010 elections marks political triumph for the Kochs. Now, by giving money to these investors in order to educate and fund these Tea Party protests, they have turned their private political agenda into a mass movement.
They gave the money, didn't they?
They did. How much money did they give?
The Koch brothers, they gave a whole bunch of money to found that movement, that Tea Party movement. They put the seeds in the ground. The good Lord provided the rain. The frogs came out of the mud, and they're our candidates.
Now, the Kochs are the epicenter of this anti-Obama movement. But it's not just about him. They would have done the same to Hillary. They did the same to Bill. They are out to destroy progressivism.
They hate people who hate America.
And they hate big government. At the same time that David Koch has been lobbying as a champion against cancer on the National Cancer Board Advisory, he has also been lobbying the EPA to classify formaldehyde, which is another product that the Kochs produce, and classifying formaldehyde as a known carcinogen to humans. They have been paying Congress to block the EPA and defer regulations until more tests have been completed.
Bless their big pink snouts. Bless their big pink snouts.
But they also haven't forgot about judiciary.
Darn right. They gave Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Antonin Scalia all expense-paid trips to go to Palm Springs, where they were able to attend a special retreat after they had worked so hard on the Citizens United versus FEC ruling, which found that corporate interests have the right to spend as much money as they want to influence public opinion on any issue at any time, even if that spending crowds out other voices. And then that way, they were able to funnel tens of millions of dollars to fund conservative causes in the 2010 election, and that was to help eliminate corporate legislation. They paid for the campaign to eliminate corporate legislation, and Warren Buffett thinks he's a big giver.
Now, these justices, Thomas and Scalia, they both attended these Koch brothers retreats that are specifically intended to show industrialist and conservative groups how to gut federal regulations. And as evidence mounts against them, observers find themselves wondering why two appointed Supreme Court justices would attend meetings to subvert public law.
Well, duh.
The court's decisions had a dramatic impact on corporate and political spending that have been in place since 1947, which was fueling a new surge of independent spending in the 2010 elections.
See, the surge is working.
And as a result, they spent more than $296 million on the congressional midterms.
You know, and none of that would have happened with straight talk from Justices Thomas and Scalia. They assisted in political strategy sessions with corporate leaders whose political aims were advanced by their decision.
So you see, the Koch brothers paid for all of this and more. They gave $106 million to Congress that would defund Planned Parenthood. They cut the Security Commission and the EPA budget and the Internal Revenue Service.
You know, and they gave another $50,000 to young Scott Walker so he could run for governor of Wisconsin and teach those socialist unions to behave. So
you see, my friends, the good times are back. because of their patriotic generosity.
And that is why we take such a great pleasure in presenting this Lifetime Achievement Award to the Snortin Koch brothers of Wichita, Kansas.
I think we're supposed to talk in the microphone.
While we normally avoid publicity, we know that we are here among friends. So we can tell you that we plan to launder another $88 million into the 2012 elections.
Once our servants in government break the unions, the progressives will lose all their major donors. Then all we gotta do is ban same-day registration and insist on really restrictive ID requirements at the polls. We're set.
And with public education crippled by underfunding the polls, we'll be too stupid to do anything but what we tell them.
So we'd like to acknowledge our daddy at this point. Our daddy founded and funded the John Birch Society, and we have carried on in his tradition. He knew